In an apocalyptic world overrun by the undead, we bring you the last news broadcast known to this grim, dying world. We report the news to prepare you for your inevitably painful demise. Will we survive another day, or will the human race end with this broadcast? This is Catching Z's, hosted by Chance Dangers. Whoa. That intro is so depressing. Let's do something more lively. That's better. Isn't that much more cheerful? You're all probably still going to die though. But it's not the end of the world. Oh wait, it is. But at least we got a more cheerful intro. Finally, we are back on the air. Thank you for letting us into your homes, rooftops, cardboard boxes, or anywhere else you might be stuck. It's amazing that we are even able to broadcast. Radio equipment is not easy to come by nowadays. A big shout out to the brave men and women who risked their lives going out and getting all of this amazing equipment. Let's get started with the news. Today, we finally named our quaint little town Okay. The man pointing a gun to my head just informed me that we cannot use our original name due to a dream he had where the name was being used by another broadcast. Therefore, we shall now refer to our home as Derminus with a D. Take that, alternate reality dream world. We have a growing population of about 302 people. Oh crap! Whew, okay, I'm back. Our population is now 301 since my assistant just tried to eat me and I had to bash her freaking brains in. Great, now my desk is covered in blood and even worse, I have to find a new assistant. Man pointing a gun at my head didn't even bother to help, but that is his choice, I suppose. He just nodded in approval. Between you and me, I don't think he likes me very much. It seems that we are under attack. Hopefully, our militia can get it under control. It would be a bad omen if our first radio broadcast ends with my untimely demise. This segment of Catching Z's is pre-recorded for my convenience. If you are hearing this message, then it means one of two things. Either I'm too busy fighting a flesh bag to speak, or I'm currently screaming in agony while being eaten by a once faithful listener. Hopefully it's the former. Some people believe that good things come to those who wait. Not me. I believe that good things come to those who go out and make it happen. For example, you can stand there and hope that flesh bag doesn't eat you, or you can step up and bash its freaking brains in. Sometimes it seems like news broadcasts only tell us of the bad things. Rarely do we get the opportunity to hear about positive things in today's bloody world. Well, that trend ends now. We recently had a new family enter our lovely town. It's great to know that our community continues to grow and can provide sanctuary to those in need. I love it when a family survives this world intact. That's what makes our next story so inspirational. The Fredericks are a small family. Brian, Heather, and their daughter Emily all arrived at Derminus late last night. I got the pleasure of meeting them. They somehow managed to escape the carnage of the big city life. I must admit, Emily captured my attention in a way that no one ever has. Maybe it was her shy smile. Maybe it was the look of life in her eyes. Who knows, something besides the glaring, bloodshot eyes of a flesh bag that I'm so used to seeing. Anyway, Emily shared a story about her father that truly inspired me. And now I want to share that with you, dear listeners. Trapped on a street full of vicious beasts with seemingly nowhere to turn, Brian managed to keep his cool even through the shrieks of his horrified wife and daughter. He stood bravely, took his wife and daughter by their hands, and shouted, "Run!" Brian then led them into a nearby building before closing and locking the door behind them. Emily screamed in horror as a familiar gurgling type of growl approached them from behind. Brian knew exactly what awaited him as he turned, but what he got did not quite meet his expectations. Judging from the robe and large cross around its neck, the horrifying, mangled face that was so desperate to eat Brian's face was that of a man of faith, more specifically, a former priest. One might think it difficult to kill a priest, but you'd be surprised at how easy it is when that priest is trying to eat you. Brian lunged forward, ripped the large cross necklace from the foul beast, and jammed it into its right eye. Covered in blood that reeked of pure death, Brian managed to get his family through the somewhat rundown church and through a side exit. Long story short, they managed to escape the big city and after several days of traveling, found Derminus. No one would have ever believed them to have made it this far. Some people are just pessimists. O ye of little faith, is what I tell the non-believers. Emily Fredericks is celebrating her 21st birthday. I'm thinking about throwing her a surprise birthday party. Shh, don't tell her. The man pointing a gun at my head has just informed me that maybe, just maybe, a radio broadcast is not the best place to announce a surprise birthday party.
This pre-recorded segment has concluded. Assuming that I have not been eaten, shot, or experienced some other horrible death, we will return to our live broadcast in a moment.
This segment of Catching Z's is brought to you by the Fleshbag Hunters Guild of Derminus, who want you to know that the cheapest type of meat is deer balls. They're under $1. Get yours today. I'm back after that horrific attack, and man was that a close call. I have never seen one that looked quite that gross. One missing eye and half of a jaw didn't stop that foul creature from trying to make this broadcaster a hearty meal. To my left lied an empty water bottle, and to my right, a microphone. You can guess which object I grabbed. The bottle, of course. We just got this damn equipment. Do you think I was going to waste it bashing in the head of a fleshbag? I tossed the water bottle as a distraction, but that idea completely failed. The fleshbag just ignored the bottle and came right after me. Luckily, the man pointing a gun at my head stopped pointing the gun at my head long enough to point the gun towards the disfigured head of my predator. After pulling the trigger, he assured me that would never happen to me so long as I report the news, quote unquote, correctly. Thank you so much, man pointing a gun at my head. Okay, where were we? I have been asked to announce that the Derminus Militia is looking for volunteers. While the lifespan of new members is about 24 hours, the knowledge that you are being eaten alive to protect our community is its own reward. Talk to the man holding a gun to your head and tell him that you would like to join. On to the election. Derminus will hold its first election since the establishment of our fair town. The leader of the Derminus Militia, General Boner, has publicly stated that he does not support the election but will patiently await the outcome. The man pointing a gun at my head has just informed me that it is pronounced General Bonner. I apologize for the misunderstanding. I need to learn to think before I speak. I also need a new pair of pants. Back to the election. Our two candidates are Dale Henson and Harry Dumas. When I asked Dale what his overall goal as governor of Derminus would be, he replied, to boldly go where no man has gone before. Whew, that swept me away, although I swear that I've heard it somewhere else. I tried interviewing Harry Dumas, but he was too busy digging a huge hole for absolutely no reason. I asked him why he was digging a hole. His answer was, why not? When I asked why he feels that people should vote for him, he replied, why not? When I tried to slip him up by asking, would you like to become a fleshbag's last meal? He replied, why not? I can now confirm that why not is his official campaign slogan. Their debate is scheduled for later today, followed by the election. In Derminus, we like to do everything fast. I must say that my vote is definitely going to Dale Henson. He seems like a go-getter. That Harry Dumas really rubs me the wrong way. Not because he can't count past 10. Not even because of his opinion that pigs can indeed fly. No, I don't like him because he's a Democrat. Whack Attack of the Month. The Whack Attack of the Month is brought to you by the friendly folks at Be Prepared. While many will tell you that family comes first, Be Prepared teaches that even your own grandmother can become a fleshbag and eat you. Don't become grandma's last meal. Bash her freaking brains in. Today's Whack Attack started out as a minor hike around town. 13-year-old Holly just wanted to stretch her legs when a huge, undead biker burst out of nowhere. While she only wanted to stretch her legs, Fleshbag Biker wanted to stretch its stomach with our dear Holly. Thank goodness we arm all of our children with small hand grenades. Holly shoved the grenade into the biker's hissing mouth, poked her tongue out to antagonize the instinctive-driven beast, and then ran in the opposite direction. Fortunately, Holly was able to escape the blast radius. The former biker was not. "Take that, smelly pants!" Holly shouted.
Be a part of the only remaining news broadcast and help us die another day by supporting us on Patreon. You can become an honorary member of Derminus, gain access to an exclusive Catching Z newsletter, and a whole lot more. Visit patreon.com/Catching Z. The link is in the description.
This just in. The electoral debate has concluded. The only expert available to us agrees, apparently with himself, that Dale Henson won the debate in a landslide, but I have to disagree with him. I might not like Harry Dumas, but his response to the issue of building stronger walls to protect Derminus was quite eloquently put with two simple words. Why not? Dale Henson avoided the question, only saying that if we remain really quiet, then our current barriers will protect us. But we will just have to see how the citizens of Derminus vote. The vote is close to starting. There are no booths, no polls. The entire election is done with the crowd raising their hands. Breaking news. This just in. In a bold attempt to sway the public's vote, Harry Dumas has just entered the first grade spelling bee. Will that tactic work? In Derminus, anything can happen. I will let you know the results as soon as they become available. The results are in. Harry Dumas has just been eliminated from the first grade spelling bee. Ironically, when given the word Harry, his response was Harrey. He argued that the word given was a trick word. "That's how you spell my name," Harry exclaimed to the judges, who were then forced to show Harry his own driver's license to solidify their position. Now we come to my favorite election event, the electoral brawl. Two politicians, one ring, well, more like a square drawn in the dirt, but we can still use our imaginations, right? One thing that we have learned since the world's end began is how to hold elections. Let the two politicians participate in a wee bit of fisticuffs. As the two men approached the ring, the intensity grew on each of their faces. Although Dale's intense look seemed to be drawn from the aspect of the oncoming fight, something else seemed to be on the mind of Harry Dumas as he glared ahead. Harry crossed the line drawn in the dirt, and then he looked directly at Dale. "Who the hell covered up my hole? Was it you?" "Shut your mouth," Dale pointed directly to Harry. "You have no right to speak." "Why not?" Harry asked, much to Dale's displeasure. "I'm sick and tired of hearing those same two words. Don't you have anything better to say? Don't you ever say those words again." "Why not?" Harry was quite diligent in his campaign slogan. "You should just leave Derminus. No one even likes you," Dale retorted, and then realized that he had opened himself to another "why not?" from Harry. Now, I won't report the exact details of the fight itself, but let's just say that neither man came out of it looking like a fighter. It's exactly the kind of fight you would expect from two politicians who have never fought a day in their life. Use your imagination.
This is Chance Dangers, living dangerously, one day at a time. You too can live dangerously by getting your own official Catching Z t-shirt by visiting shop.spreadshirt.com/Catching Z. Okay, well, it's not quite living dangerously, but close enough.
Today's election is the #1 story. So we have polled the top 3 questions concerning the election and asked citizens of Derminus exactly what we should expect. Here are some of the answers we received. What are the skills that you want the next governor to possess? Obviously, survivor skills was the #1 answer. The ability to survive longer than a week, which ironically would be longer than any governor of Derminus has ever survived. What issue do you want our new governor to solve first? Citizens seem to be in agreement that our wall needs to be fixed. Patching it with duct tape and cardboard simply doesn't work. And I agree wholeheartedly with this statement. I mean, I've almost been eaten twice today during this broadcast. Do you think our elections are done in a fair way? Who the hell cares? Those damn flesh bags don't give a rat's ass about fair. They only care about eating our faces off. We need a leader who can make the tough decisions. Not someone who spends all of their time spouting off lies and trying to win some popularity contest. We need a true winner to lead. But to answer your question, that's pretty much a consensus of all of our citizens. But now let me answer your question. Our citizens meet, cast their votes, and the person who gets the most votes wins. That seems fair, doesn't it?
The Derminus Militia would like to remind you that they are still looking for volunteers. Would you like to join the Derminus Militia? Would you like to hunt flesh bags? By becoming a Patreon, you don't get to do any of that stuff. But you do get to become an honorary member of Derminus, gain access to an exclusive Catching Z newsletter, and a whole lot more. Visit patreon.com/Catching Z. The link is in the description.
The election has concluded and we have shocking news from the Derminus Community Center where the election took place. Dale Henson won this election in a landslide. His 300 votes were more than enough to give him the victory over Harry Dumas, who managed to string together a single vote. Everyone who attended the event is still in shock. Not because of Dale Henson's victory. I mean, everyone pretty much expected that outcome. The shock came during Dale Henson's inauguration. Just as he began to give his victory speech, screams erupted throughout the community center as a handful of flesh bags burst through one of the patched up holes in our outer walls. Even more evidence that duct tape and cardboard are just not reliable materials to patch holes with. Seriously, fix this. The first citizen to fall was an older lady who just so happened to be directly in front of a member of the Derminus Militia. The poor woman was made into a meat shield, giving our soldier enough time to remove his gun and blast a shot through the head of the mangled attacker. Dear Beth, the Derminus Militia thanks you for your brave sacrifice. It will not be forgotten. Well, it will probably be forgotten by tomorrow, but it's the idea that counts. Man pointing a gun at my head agrees. Another pair of vicious creatures staggered through the hole in the wall as the crowd began to part in an attempt to flee the area. Most of them managed to escape just in time as the Derminus Militia opened fire. They did not, however, escape the rotten blood as the pair of heads exploded from exposure to perfectly fired bullets. Unfortunately, Dale Henson had taken cover behind the militia next to a wall. Once again, we saw firsthand that duct tape and cardboard are not efficient materials to patch up a wall because a flesh bag ripped through and grabbed Dale Henson by the arms. He struggled to get free, but the creature had a firm grip. The Derminus Militia closed in, stabbing and punching, but they were not in time. Dale's neck gushed blood as the creature fell limply to the ground, its teeth still holding firmly onto Dale's flesh. The attack was propelled as the militia managed to patch a pair of holes with the proper materials this time, but not before our newly elected governor had been compromised. Being the brave soul that Harry Dumas is, he courageously put a bullet into the head of his former adversary to end his suffering. To me, that was such a brave act. Harry was forced to shoot his former opponent in the head. I know that had to have been the toughest thing that poor Harry has ever had to do in his entire life. That just shows that Harry Dumas will do whatever is best for Derminus, and he now has my full support, mainly because the other guy's dead. Therefore, Harry Dumas is now our governor due to unforeseeable circumstances. We have already received a complaint letter. Let me read that to you now. Dear Chance, this election was a joke. How can a man get elected into a governorship with only one vote? I am ashamed of my community for allowing this. Yours truly, Albert Smith. Okay, Albert. First of all, you are free to leave Derminus at any time, where you're sure to become a delicacy on the food menu at Café Le Dead. Harry Dumas won the election by default. Even though I personally didn't vote for him, he did win within the rules of the election. So he is our new governor. Deal with it.
Man pointing a gun at my head has just informed me that I must go off the air for exactly 10 seconds. I don't know why, but I'll let you know as soon as I come back. I'm back. Unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to discuss what I was told during the break.
Governor Harry Dumas has just passed his first law. Henceforth, every Thursday shall be Ice Cream Thursday. Even though we have no ice cream, no freezers, and no dairy products, I still think it's a great idea. Way to go, Harry. Breaking news. I have just been informed to warn citizens of Derminus about a potential danger. In the valley to the north of our fair town, a luminous green fog has formed. The Derminus militia plans to investigate the phenomenon and advises citizens to stay away from it. Do not enter the luminous green fog. There is something ominous about it. It continues to grow in size. Before long, it's said that we'll be able to see it from here. I haven't looked at it myself, but others have described it as a bright, large, and obviously green fog. It seems to expand in a spherical shape, flashing what can only be described as lightning. Again, stay away from the luminous green fog. We're out of time, but stay tuned for our next broadcast of Catching Z's. What could this mysterious green fog possibly be? Is it a bad omen or a blessing? Also, how will Harry Dumas decide to move our fair town forward in the coming weeks? Tune in next time for more Catching Z's. This is Chance Danger, signing off, hopefully not for the last time.